Since I sold my big M32 console, some of you have been asking me to make videos about the M32C that I'm currently using with the DL32 stage box, this one, and here you go, this is video for you. For the last month or so, I've been in so many conferences back to back, so I've been only home for a few days. That's why I wasn't being able to make any videos for so long. However, I've been to the same place twice with this setup, so I'm gonna walk you through it, and I was only using my phone. I usually do all the setup on the M32 Edit app, and I would usually only write faders on my phone, but I thought, can I do everything on my phone without touching the M32 app? And also, does this trigger you? A few years ago, whenever I saw someone holding a condenser microphone with their hand, it would bother me because it would be too much handling noise if I touch it on the metal or touch the cable. That's why I'm not holding it directly, but it's fine. Anyway, here's the room. I wasn't able to film what I was doing while I was doing it because we were so pressed on time, I was barely able to finish setting up in time. There are 4 speakers in the room, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and I disconnected the ones in the back. And the reason for that is that there's only one amplifier. And what they had done is that they had connected the front speaker to the back speaker. If you know anything about speakers and frequencies and time alignment, guess what? You need delay between the front and the back, and you cannot do that if both speakers are getting the exact same signal. And the room is not so big that you need so many speakers, so I just used the speakers in the front and disconnected the ones in the back. I thought about doing it in mono and connecting the left speaker to the right speaker and the left speaker in the back to the right speaker in the back and do time delay between those. But if I had done that, I would have to run the cables across the room from one side to the other where people would be sitting or walking and they might trip over them. And I didn't want to worry about that. And also I don't need the back speakers really. And the room was very live, so it was a bit difficult. There was a lot of natural reverb in it. And for some reason, this monitor, I tried it before we went to that place, directly before it with the same cables, everything the same. Nothing was wrong with it. But in that room, it was hissing a lot. There was noise that was so loud. And if I would get my finger close and touch the output pins, the noise would become even much louder than that. It was too loud to just pretend that it doesn't exist. So I ended up not using it. I'm not sure why. Maybe because of the electricity in the place, maybe not proper grounding, maybe something underneath the ground. I'm not really sure about that. So if this has ever happened to you, please let me know in the comments. The second time we went there, we brought also drums. So the drummer was wearing headphones, not a loudspeaker, just in his ears. And the piano had a small monitor and the guitar had small monitor. And this is the amplifier I was talking about. Only one amplifier, 2 channels, so I can't do any time delay between the speakers. So it's just a left-right, output 15 and 16. And of course, the instruments go through ADI, and the drum bus goes to a headphone amplifier, which feeds the headphones that the drummer is using. Now, these speakers were extremely harsh, like over the top. It hurts my ears to just listen to them the way they are. And of course, I didn't have time to take any measurements and do fancy stuff. So what I did instead is that first time I ran pink noise through the speakers and I just EQ'd them by ear. The second time what I did, I had a little bit more time and instead I used the sine wave and sweep through it. Back in 2018, I think, when I first started getting into live sound, I worked with someone and he did this, and back then I didn't really understand why he was doing it exactly, but now that I did it myself, I was like, oh, that's the reason. Keep in mind, I'm doing all of this on my phone now. For this video, I'm showing you on my computer with the mixing station just so you can see the mouse and where I'm clicking. Okay, so you'll go to the 3 dots on the top and then go to setup and over to signal generator, and you will choose your main left-right. It's called left-right, and choose sine and turn it on. Now we have signal. With this knob, you can turn it up and down, the level of it. Click on it, you will have a finer control. You can much more precisely tweak it that way. And here you have the frequency. You can set 2 frequencies. I talked about that in another video with the big console, so you can switch quickly between one frequency and the other. However, this is not really necessary. So just generate a frequency, start from, let's say, I don't know, 50 hertz, 60 hertz. That's maybe how low the speakers can go, depends on your speakers. And I would open that and start sweeping very slowly. And what I'm listening for is that one frequency that will resonate way louder than the other frequencies in the room. So I was going through, nothing. And in the high mids, I started noticing some frequencies are way too loud. They pierced my ears. And these are the frequencies that I would cut. So I would find it, get out of this, turn it down a little bit just so that it doesn't bother me too much, because I have to go to extra steps and go back and go to the main left right and then go into the EQ and cut these frequencies. So this is the EQ I had done on the main left right. It seems too extreme, and I would usually never cut this much high end, but these speakers were really way too harsh. So these are all the frequencies that were much louder than the others in the room, and generally all the high end was way too bright, so I brought it all down, and there wasn't enough flow mids, so I boosted that a little bit. But keep in mind, this is not typical. This is an exception. And also, of course, I had a compressor on the main left right. I just used the auto time feature because I was not mixing myself. In the first conference, I gave my phone to one of the Americans that were with us in the conference to mix from the room because I was playing an instrument. And in the second conference, I gave it to one of my friends because I was also playing an instrument. So I didn't really mix anything during the sessions, but I prepared beforehand. So first of all, what I did is that for every instrument, I did the gain staging, EQ, compression, reverb, whatever. And I got it to a rough place where it should be loud enough but not too loud. Then what I did is that I recorded everything on my PC. I recorded multi-tracks of everything, and after the first session I played them back through the mixer and did a virtual sound check, and I was able to mix it quickly without anyone playing because I was playing, and so I would be able to be in the room and mix it and get it to a sweet spot where if I give my phone to someone to mix it, they would only need to write faders and not do anything else. If you look at the channels, the gain is pretty high. I noticed that anywhere between plus 25 and plus 32, depending on if it's an instrument or a microphone, that's kind of the sweet spot of the preamps for that mixer. It sounds really good. I think you should have a loud enough signal coming into your input, and then the speakers would be controlled from the amplifier, because usually what I noticed is that speakers would be too loud and you would have the gain too low so that it wouldn't be too loud in the room. And that's backwards. You always start from the input and then decide how loud it's gonna be in the room at the last stage, at the amplifier. Now also what I did on my phone, because it's a small screen, I removed everything that I don't need. So what I did is this. I went into the gear icon, layers, and deleted all the layers. And my phone screen would get 11 channels. So I did that. Press and hold on the layer, edit it, and I put these, the instruments and the microphones, and also the reverb bus and the main left right. So this is what I had on my phone. And of course, without the graphs because there's no place for them. Channel strip and remove the diagrams. So that's what I had on my phone. And of course, I also had another layer for the buses, the monitor buses, and also the reverb returns. And also this extra guitar channel that I made to use as an electric guitar with the electroacoustic that we had, but didn't end up really using it. So that was the second layer. And I also set up a Talkback microphone and I plugged it into the back of the M32C with a unbalanced connection. So I had a cable that's female XLR from one side and just tip sleeve 1/4 inch jack from the other side. Well, it's not jack, it's a plug. The jack is what you plug the 1/4 inch plug into. And I was expecting it to be noisy because it's unbalanced, but it was completely fine. It's quite nice actually. And I used that to talk to the drummer in his ears because I don't want to wave my hands around. I don't need everyone to know that I want to talk to the drummer. So here's what you do on the Mixing Station app. Click on the 3 dots on the top, then go to Setup, and you have your Talkback right here. You're gonna enable Talkback A and select the buses that you wanna talk to. In the second conference also, the guitar had in-ears, so I assigned the Talkback for both the drums monitor and the guitar monitor, and I kept it on all the time because the microphone had a switch, so I could just turn the switch off on the microphone. That's how it would mute it, because it's so many steps to get into the Talkback section. You'd have to click here, then Setup, then Talkback. And also every time you turn off the mixer and back on, the Talkback would get turned off. So I found that a bit annoying. Now with the pro version of Mixing Station, I could have gone to the settings and gone to layout, make a new layout, click on the plus, then go to general, make a new button, and I'll put that button right here. Click on it, settings, and go here, click add action, and I would have gone to console, Talkback, Talkback A, go back. And now if I click on this, it will turn on the Talkback. Instead of going here, then going to setup, then Talkback, then click on it. This is the same thing. So if I turn this off right now, this button right here will be turned off. Could have done the same thing for the signal generator. I'll talk more about the custom layouts in Mixing Station in the next video. You can do something like that, for example. Would it be nice if I had a bigger screen? Yes. Would it be nice if I had 2 screens or 3 screens? Yes, sure. But can I do everything that I need to do on my phone? Yes, I can. I didn't use at all the M32 Edit app on my PC. I only recorded multitracks on my PC and I did everything on my phone. When I was tuning the speakers, when I was removing all these harsh frequencies from the speakers, it would have been nice if I had just another screen. It doesn't really matter if it was bigger. It could have been another phone. It's so many steps to get into the signal generator on the mixing station app and also get back to the EQ of the main left right and go back and forth. So if I had one phone that had the EQ of the main left right and another phone that had the signal generator, it would have been nice. But I could still do all of it. It's just a bit of a hassle. Also, something else I want to address. In a previous video where I showed you this setup that I made this case, this custom case, and I put the M32C and the DL32 in it, and it's the exact same size as the units, people were very upset about it and were even said that I will cook my gear because there's not enough airflow in it somehow. For some reason, you should put your gear in a bigger case with a lot of empty space around it, which doesn't make any sense. First of all, if you look into the mixer, most of it is empty. Most of it is empty space. Air can go around it. Same thing goes for the stage box. It's not an Apple product. It's not an iPhone stuffed with stuff inside of it. Also, there's no vents on the top and bottom of it, so it doesn't matter if the case is bigger or not. And for the 2 conferences that were 3 days long each, the mixer was on from 8 in the morning until 10, 11 at night, and it was completely fine. It was in the summer, it was very hot, it's still in the summer right now, and there was no air conditioning in the room, and it was full of people, and it was fine. Now, yes, does it get warm to the touch if I touch it like this? A little bit. Also, any other piece of gear does that. It's not so hot that it's dangerous somehow. I'm not going to the middle of the desert under the burning sun and using my mixer. Just use common sense. If you're using your gear in a very hot environment and you know that it's gonna be extremely hot, get a screwdriver, get it out of the case, fine. Also, when I had the big M32 mixer, it would get way hotter than this one does. Also, during the sermons, the preacher had a very sibilant voice. His S's were very sharp.
فيا سؤال ايه اللي خلى نفسية المرنم منحنية؟
And he was holding the microphone too close to his mouth, which I appreciate. I do appreciate that because a lot of people don't even think about the microphone. They just get away from it like this and talk as if there's no microphone. So I appreciate that, but it was just too sibilant and because also the speakers are too harsh. So what I did is I gave the de-esser another chance. If you watched my videos before, you know that I really don't like the de-esser plugin. But I was like, okay, I'm too tired to fiddle around and tweak the settings of the multiband compressor, of the combinator. So I just put the de-esser and turn up the knob. Guess what? No matter how much I turned it up, some of the S's would be way too squashed and some of them would just pass through and would still be very sibilant. So I gave it a chance and I was proven right again. It's really useless. So I removed it from the channel and put the combinator instead and used that. And that was really nice because you can actually decide what are the frequencies that you're affecting and how much you're compressing them and turning them up and down altogether, the level of it. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not. You cannot set the frequencies for the bands independently from one another. They all move proportionally together. But it's fine. You still have a lot of control. And I really liked it. So here's how you do inserts on the mixing station app on your phone. It's quite simple actually. I would even say it's simpler than doing it on the big console itself. So you go to the effects and you have all your effects here. You will click, press and hold on the effect to decide which one you want. So let's say right here I have the combinator and I'm putting it on rack number 3. This is the first 4 are sends and returns, or they could be inserts. But because on the 5 to 8 combinator does not exist. And so usually you would choose your effects bus from here. But if you want to use it as an insert, you'll click on that one and decide that it's an insert. Now, how do you put it on the channel itself? You go to the channel, that's the channel, go to the insert tab, and turn on the insert and click on the gear icon and decide which rack it's in. So here you have rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, all the effects units. So if I want to insert the distortion, I'll click on rack 4 and apply. This is already in use. Do I want to remove it and put it on this one? Yes. Okay. Now I have this insert on it. You can turn it on or off. You can change it from here. If you don't want to get into the effects page, you can go here and do that. And also you can set it to pre or post processing and apply. Also, scenes are really easy. You just click on the folder up here and go to scene. And this is the scene that I did for that place. This is the first scene that I did with the first conference. Yes, I'm gonna load it. That was it. And this is the second scene for the second conference. That's it. I have the combinator right here. And I'm not showing you the settings because they are some magic settings. It's just what sounded good in the room. You have to use your ears. Copying settings doesn't really help because each room is different, each speaker is different, each microphone is different, each person is different, each voice is different. So you really need to know how to listen. And also monitor stands, super easy. I had this one right here like this on the large. So what I would do is I would hide everything that I don't need, make it invisible. Here we go. I have my drum monitor, click on it. I'm in the sense for the drums monitor. Click on this, I'm in the sense for the piano monitor. Click on this, I'm in the sense for the guitar monitor. Click on this, I'm in the sense for the lead singer. And here I have my reverb. Click on it, send to the reverb, get out of it. This is really quick. Also, I want to show you if you want to give this to your musicians to let them mix their own monitor mix. First, open the Mixing Station app and go into your mixer. You'll have here permissions. It says no restrictions, so you can access everything. On your musicians' phones, you can click here and go to personal monitor, choose the bus that they are on. So I'm gonna click bus 1 and get out of this, then connect. And now I only have access to the bus 1, that is the drums monitor in this case. You can have access to multiple buses at the same time if that's what you want, or no restrictions, you have access to everything. And yeah, I hope that was a bit insightful. I really like that I can mix my M32 mixer with my phone. Someone in previous video thought that I was endorsed by Mixing Station. Mixing Station is developed by one person, an independent developer. It's not a company. Also, everything that you can do on the console itself, you can do in the free version of Mixing Station. I still haven't bought the pro version because I didn't need it yet. However, there are a few very useful features in the pro version, but these features are only for the app itself. It's not something that is a feature of the mixer. So it's things like linking the EQ of many channels together, or linking the gain of many channels together, or customizing it and doing custom layouts to put whatever buttons you need to put in the place that you need them to be, so that it's very efficient. The M32 or X32 app that Music Group has done is only for iPad, and it kind of sucks. So it's really nice to be able to control everything on your mixer, on your phone or tablet or any kind of device. If you like this video, hit the like button and click on the video on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.